Hi, I'm very happy and thank you very much for the invitation. My name is Antje Bieber. I am the head of SDG office of FERI. We are a very well-known investment house in Germany. We manage and advise large investors from the private and institutional side. And my job is to advise investors and also work in the public field on sustainability issues and the possibility to invest in the change.
Yeah. My name is Tony Wagi. I'm the Executive Director of Indonesia Climate Change Trust Fund, the first environment trust fund in Indonesia. And thank you. I've been invited to the iconic 24 conference, and happy to contribute to any discussion which has been so good so far.
First of all, congratulations to this panel. That was really impressive to having the Indonesian Climate Change Trust Fund and also the Indonesian Environmental Fund on on the panel. And I think that is already one of the key parameters is the collaboration of the public and the private side. So the public, which was represented by the two gentlemen, they are very committed. So there is a lot of activity, and that is the precondition to attract private capital.
Sure. So I think I've underlined a couple of points. So number one, I would like to mention again that the integrated financing model for sustainable development is one of the key issues, the important that we need to pay attention to if we want to get the sustainable green and blue financing. During the session, it emphasized the need for creating financial models that integrate both green and blue financing. The green financing focus on reducing the carbon emission and promoting renewable energy, while the blue financing aspect of sector will support the ocean and also ecosystem conservation. So aligning these two sort of like the two worlds, the land and the ocean, will allow us more holistic approach to sustainability, ensuring that the climate initiatives are in harmony to preserve the environment. I need to remind people that creating policy to have an attractive financing model or financial instrument is key to have this the global and mobilizing fund. So I think the financial institutions, I underline also the importance of aligning with the government plan, with the government target. For the blue economy, we know that, we have to make sure, for instance, getting almost 100 million hectares by 2025, that requires a lot of investment. And for developing countries like Indonesia, but soon we hope that we are not a developing countries anymore. Multi-stakeholder partnership is a key, together with Germany, with other countries, that we can tap in, not just to the technological innovation, but also for the financing world and to implement a low carbon and on green and online. I think those are the two key messages that I would like to share with you.
Well, I think having heard the two gentlemen, especially Dr. Tony Vaghi, is very promising. It is crucial to attract international capital, international private capital for a low carbon transition or biodiversity, nature restoration. The crucial thing is risk mitigation, and risk for investors is usually laying in things like governance and political insecurity and long-term risks. So seeing that large institutions in your country are actually doing something very serious about it is very promising. And I think that's the best basis to move on. Well, I think one of the interesting things about Indonesia, which I've been traveling to a lot, is, I mean, it's such a huge country, and it is almost impossible to enforce all of the laws in all those thousands of different islands and villages. And what do you want to do? Do you want to send police people all over? That's not possible. So I think it is one of the very, very important things that I would highly recommend in Indonesia is work much more on education. Educate the people that nature is a value and plastic is not belonging in the ocean, and is the people itself. So the Indonesian people have to be a huge part in this transformation. And I know that they want to, but they need to know more of, why shouldn't I just put my trash in the backyard? It is a learning process. And I think that is the key issue. And one of the very things, and that's why, biodiversity and pollution and all of that is so crucial, is that people should understand that maybe waste also has a value. So things like recycling system, if I get money for collecting trash, it all of a sudden has a value. So these kind of mechanisms have to be in place, because then you can incorporate the communities and the people. So law enforcement by law enforcement doesn't really work probably in a country your size, but it's the motivation and the education and the will of the people. Well, I think first of all, the activity at it is already important. That young people, students, are active and they're really integrating themselves and trying to change something is a very important and crucial thing to do.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I think I cannot stress enough the important of this dynamic thinking and also the movement of the youth, because we all have been. I'm not that old, but I've been become a student, and this event placed important and key discussion and strategies, right? That I would like you as a group to provide this recommendation, because I think you guys can have this in terms of the format of recommendation to the government, to the correct ministries, or you can do it to Minister of Foreign Affairs, with the ambassador, but a couple of things that I would like to take as a key or take home message. So number one, I think we know that the opportunity that we discussed, opportunity in terms of how to make sure that opportunities to get financing, to get the best practices. That's also another thing that I'd like to highlight. Is yes, you can talk about the concept, but you have to make sure that it is applicable. And finally, I would say, I think for this kind of like conference, the iPhone is 2024, what will be the take-home message is the networking and partnership. Collaboration is also very important to build relationships, with academics, with industry, policymakers, and so on. That's something that I would like to highlight, and I congratulate you all for having this conference.
What I would love to see is that there is a matchmaking and a collaboration between the global south or Indonesia as a very, very important country, especially on the topic of biodiversity. In collaboration with large institutional and also public investors in the global north, as you say, and to tackle the huge challenges that we have. We have a massive problem with pollution, and your country is one of the key, the key countries who have to cope with it. I mean, I've been traveling to Indonesia a lot, and there is so much pollution on your beaches, which is not from Indonesia. Yes, there is some, but it's not. It's coming from all over the world, and so pollution is a big issue that has to be tackled. Deforestation, a lot of biodiversity loss. But on the other side, Indonesia is such an enormously amazing and valuable country for the center of biodiversity. So I hope there's a lot of action coming.
Well, let me just pointing to one issue, one aspect, and that is the relationship with between these two countries, Indonesia and Germany. I think you are on that part of the world, and I am here in Jakarta, in Indonesia. So many thousand miles or kilometers, but the relationship, has been strong. I know with the help of the ambassador, he is such an amazing person. But I would like to see more on how you invest. You mean, the German side invest more on the human capital of Indonesia. We have around or more than 270 million people, and that is by itself an opportunity, but also a challenge. Because when you ask the regular person, you will not be able to get the clear answer of what is blue financing, what is green financing. So something in that nature, not very complicated, but at least something that people, layperson can understand, and that is the opportunity we can do between Indonesia and Germany. And lastly, I think what we have been talking over the last couple of hours is that the opportunity to have investment, let's say, not just Germany, but also EU in general. So I think that could be a good match with what Indonesia is trying to do.
It is regulation enforcement. It is exactly that. It's the governance. It's the credibility, the reliability of regulation and political planning. So if you have laws which are not enforced, they don't have any value. So investors have to make sure that they can rely on legal frameworks, they can rely on governance structures, they can rely on political structures, and that has to be enforced. So I know that there's a lot of laws, but if there's no enforcement, that is the biggest issue.